Chapter 2. The Schoolhouse Door. The sun had not yet breached the horizon, its promise of a new day cloaked by the slumbering town. A gentle mist hung in the air, casting an ethereal glow on the worn and weary buildings that lined the streets of Maycomb. Scout Finch, now a woman with lines etched into her once youthful face, trudged through this spectral landscape, her footsteps echoing against the cobblestones like the ticking of a clock announcing the arrival of change. Arriving at the old schoolhouse, she found it much as she remembered: the ivy-covered walls, the creaking floorboards, and the musty odor that lingered in every corner. But change was afoot, for the bell tower now rang not with the songs of children but with the discordant notes of discontent and unrest. Scout's classroom was filled with eager faces, young and old, their eyes alight with curiosity and anticipation. There were returning veterans, their bodies bearing the scars of battle. There were children from impoverished families, their clothes threadbare and their bellies hollow. There were even some who bore the taint of discrimination, their skin a different hue than that which was considered acceptable in this small, conservative town. "Good morning, class," Scout began, her voice steady and strong despite the tumultuous emotions swirling within her. "I'm Miss Scout Finch, your new teacher." A murmur swept through the room, a symphony of voices, some excited, others suspicious, all curious. Scout smiled, her eyes scanning the sea of faces before settling on one in particular, a young girl with skin as dark as the night sky and eyes that gleamed like polished emeralds. "You there?" Scout said, pointing at the girl. "What's your name?" The girl hesitated for a moment, her eyes darting nervously around the room before meeting Scout's gaze. "Calpurnia," she replied softly, her voice trembling with uncertainty. Scout nodded, acknowledging the connection between them. For Calpurnia was not just any student, she was the daughter of the woman who had once cared for Scout and her brother Jem as if they were her own children. "Welcome to school, Calpurnia," Scout said, her voice gentle but firm. The day wore on, and with it came a series of challenges that tested Scout's resolve and patience. Some students faced prejudice within the classroom, their questions met with sneers or ridicule by their classmates. Others encountered discrimination outside of school, their pleas for justice falling on deaf ears. One day, as Scout was walking home, she witnessed a group of veterans verbally abusing a young black man who had dared to apply for a job at the local store. Her blood boiled with rage, her hands clenching into fists at her sides. She knew that if she intervened, it would only escalate the situation and possibly put herself in harm's way, but she could not stand idly by and watch this injustice unfold. With a deep breath, Scout stepped forward, addressing the veterans with a tone that left no room for argument. "You are wrong to treat this man like this," she said, her voice shaking only slightly. "He has fought for our country just as you have, and he deserves the same opportunities as any white man." The veterans glared at Scout, their eyes burning with hatred, but they knew better than to challenge a Finch, especially one who was not afraid to stand up for what she believed in. With reluctant grudges, they retreated, leaving the young black man to finish his application in peace. As the days turned into weeks and the weeks into months, Scout found herself growing increasingly weary under the weight of her responsibilities. She questioned whether she was truly making a difference, or if she was simply fighting a losing battle against a tide of prejudice that seemed insurmountable. One evening, as she sat in her old bedroom, gazing out the window at the moonlit town below, she heard a soft knock on her door. It was Atticus, his face etched with concern and worry. "Scout," he said softly, "I know this has been a difficult time for you, but remember why you came back to Maycomb: to make a difference in these children's lives." Atticus placed a hand on Scout's shoulder, his touch warm and comforting. "You have already accomplished so much," he continued, "but don't let doubt cloud your vision or weigh you down. You are strong, Scout Finch, stronger than you know, and I believe in you." With that, Atticus turned and left, leaving Scout to ponder his words. She knew he was right, for she could see the change in her students, the gradual erosion of prejudice, the growth of empathy, the blossoming of hope. And she realized that, though the road ahead may be long and fraught with obstacles, she would not turn away from it now. For Scout Finch was Maycomb's daughter, forged in the crucible of her youth, and she would not abandon her hometown in its time of need. With renewed determination, she stepped out into the moonlit night, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, to stand against prejudice, to fight for justice, and to right the wrongs that had long simmered beneath the surface of this small, conservative town. The sun rose the next day, casting its golden light over Maycomb as Scout Finch continued her mission, a beacon of hope in a world filled with darkness, a testament to the power of determination and the indomitable spirit of one young woman who refused to back down, even when the odds were stacked against her. For she knew that change did not come easily or quickly, but it came, and it began with her.